So my name's Janet Thompson and I'm the CEO of the Retreat New Zealand, and I travelled to America in 2023 and became trained to be a Love First interventionist. When you're a family member or a friend of a loved one that's having a problem with alcohol, it can be really confusing and baffling to know what best to do. And I always used to say to families, just make sure that you don't enable the alcoholic. But what I realised is that was really silly, because of course you're going to enable the alcoholic because you love them. But what a Love First intervention does is it challenges us and it teaches us how to enable recovery rather than enable the drinking. You may or may not need a full-blown intervention, but what we find is that sometimes having the courageous conversations are easier if it's done with an independent person. When somebody's drinking and their drinking is causing problems in their life or in the lives of the people that they love or in their working lives, you've got some choices. You can either ignore it and hope that it gets better, or you can choose to do something about it. Now, if you choose to do something about it, your loved one may not appreciate it. They may tell you that you're the problem. If they could just fix this, this and this, then they would sort out their drinking. And it becomes really difficult because you want to believe them, but you kind of know that it's probably not going to get better. And I can tell you from experience that all it does is get worse. When you get to a point where you think that you need to do something about your loved one's drinking, you're probably at the point where you do need to do something about it. There's this book called Love First Intervention. This gives you a step-by-step guide on how to do an intervention yourself. You and your family can just go buy the book and go through, and it's a great book, it's an easy read. There are times, however, when just reading the book and doing it yourself, it just seems a bit too much. Often it's hard to work with the people that we love the most. And in my experience, alcoholics, we hurt the people we love the most. And it's really difficult and confusing and perplexing. So what a Love First intervention does is it provides you with some education. The person that contacts us in the first instance, we've got a few questions that we need to go through with you. And then we find 5, 6, 7 of the person's closest friends, and we work with them and we educate you on what the drinking is doing. Because your loved one, they're not a bad person. They might be doing some bad things, but they're not a bad person. They're just a sick person who needs to get well. And alcoholism, in my experience, is the only illness that tries to tell us that we don't have it. And it's really, really hard to break down those barriers. That's where having a Love First interventionist can help. When we say Love First, you may have seen those TV programs called Intervention, where basically the loved one gets ambushed and they get shamed into going into rehab. This leads with love. It's saying to you, look, I have known you for X amount of years. I love you more than life itself, but I'm not going to stand by and let you destroy yourself with your drinking. I want you to get some help, and if you're not going to get some help, these are the bottom lines that I'm going to put in place. Because I love you too much to allow you to continue to drink the way that you're drinking, because it's causing too much grief to me and to the family and to everybody else. What we do is we educate you on the disease of alcoholism. We teach you some strategies for having that courageous conversation with your loved one. Then we help your loved one to get into rehab. A good intervention takes about 40 hours before we actually get to talk to the loved one. So there's a lot of background work, and we've already covered all the objections, all the barriers, and it's just an opportunity for this enormous outpouring of love to the alcoholic to say, listen mate, we love you, we want you to be well, won't you let us help you?